Hi, Virgo. Welcome to your May 2018 Astro Update. It's Rena. So, Virgo, as I've been saying to the other signs I've already done, there is a concentration of energy in the sign of Taurus. And I didn't even write down that the sun enters the month in Taurus as well. So, for you, Taurus is your ninth house of the higher mind. So your philosophical framework, your sophisticated learning, which would be the university level of learning or teaching. And it's the house of publishing. It's the house of, it's a God house. So it deals with religious matters. And foreign travel is a big one too. And so the sun is there as the month begins. This is Sagittarius' house. So you're going to be in that Sagittarian frame of mind where you are very expansive in different ways, whether it's physically through travel or mentally through learning new things, you know, in the academic world or spiritual things. And the big story here is that Uranus, which is a 7-year transit, goes into this house on the same day that there's a new moon in Taurus. So Uranus has been in your 8th house for the last 7 years in Aries. I wonder how that has affected the average Virgo person having Uranus in the 8th house, because Uranus is a very erratic, unpredictable, and rebellious energy. And the 8th house deals with the occult. So perhaps that has been something that has brought unusual experiences to you. But it's also dealing with death. I don't know if some of you have had unexpected deaths near and dear to you in the last 7 or so years. But it's also the house of sex, and I'm not going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But now it's in the 9th house, and I'm wondering how that will affect you. Because actually, it could make some of you want to go to some very unusual destinations that the average person wouldn't go. So maybe you'll book a trip to the Arctic. Maybe you'll do something that is maybe you'll go to college and study a very odd subject that nobody else does. I don't know. But it can mean that you are attracted to unusual ideas related to spirituality. And you can follow some very unusual groups. I don't know how many of you have ever seen that book. And it's like humongous. It's called the Urantia book. I remember seeing it over the years. It's got some really far out material. Maybe that's the kind of thing that you're going to get into. But that is definitely something unique that relates to your philosophy of life too. So it could simply be that you break free from the constraints of conditioned belief about what life means for you, and want to just live a completely different lifestyle. So in other words, maybe going into a commune or going by yourself in a very remote location, just something where you're not living a mainstream life because your philosophy has gotten so, uniquely different. And I feel like the new moon in Taurus on the same day is really signaling to all of us that we are to break free from the rut that Taurus as a sign, as a fixed earth sign, can bring, where the person has blinders on. Taurus people tend to stubbornly hold on to their beliefs and their belief system. And you having the belief system with Uranus transiting through there, it's going to blow it wide open probably. And you may develop a philosophy of life that is very different than it was before for you. And maybe you'll change it several times during this transit. What you think the meaning of life is, what your purpose in life is. And as I said, you may even have unusual trips abroad, but perhaps this is even about you traveling suddenly, unexpectedly. So a new moon means new beginnings in this 9th house. And then the very next day, Mars goes into Aquarius. This is your 6th house, which deals with matters of health. You rule this house, Virgo. So everything practical and organized, your daily routine, your health matters. Mars here can make you actually be looking at a physical, like an exercise program that you devise, because Mars can be very physical. This can be a time when there's some kind of conflict in the workplace where something is maybe getting hashed out, or you're clashing with somebody for some reason. On the 19th, Venus goes into Cancer, which is your 11th house of hopes and wishes and friendships, group associations. Actually, so that means that Venus is in your 10th house in Gemini until that date. And actually, the very next day that Venus goes into your 11th, the sun goes into that career sector, the 10th. So Venus is in your 10th house until the 19th, and the sun goes there the next day. Venus in the 10th house can be very good for career matters, for advancement. You can come across in a very charming way, in a very attractive way. Venus is the attractor. She attracts good stuff to her, good karma, money. Money's good, and you could attract it somehow. Maybe you get a raise, who knows? But you're in good favor. Now, interestingly, this is happening while Mars is in the 6th house. So let's say you have a fight with one of your coworkers. The management, your higher ups, are going to take your side. And Virgo people tend to be the ones who are the busy little beavers. So I can't think of a Virgo person who's a slacker on the job. So if you're having any conflict, it's probably because the other person is envious of your ability to really do your job well, do your job efficiently. And they have nothing better to do than to cause trouble. On the 29th of the month, Mercury goes into Gemini, so that's that 10th house joining the sun. So Mercury is about you being vocal, maybe signing contracts, working something out, really thinking about your career path for whatever reason. But your mind may be on career matters at the end of the month, and on the very same day, there's a full moon in your 4th house of home and family. So there's some kind of awareness about your mother, your family of origin in general. Maybe there's an ending, maybe a house is being sold, whether it's your family's house or your current house. You may have a sale, or you may simply be aware of something either from your mother, or maybe it's just some kind of a revelation you have about your childhood and how, making those connections with now and what's been happening with you lately. Because I think that Virgo, now that Uranus is in that 9th house, you are going to be quite philosophical, but it's going to be an unusual way of looking at things. It's not going to be the typical philosophy. You're going to be attracted to things that are outside the box, so to speak. And yet you still may be reflecting on the past, as you are very futuristic when it comes to some of your beliefs. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Take care. Bye.